Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Chris Loves Comics. It's Thursday. I hope you guys have had a chance to read your books. A little bit of a spoiler alert, I will be explaining the books. I'll be opening up the books and going over how I feel about certain events that transpire in the books. So just wanted to give you a quick heads up. If you haven't read your books, read them and then come back and by all means and watch the video. But we'll start off with my favorite books of the week, and we'll start off with The Avengers #2 by Jen McKay and Cia Villa. This is off to a fantastic start. Kang is sort of working with the Avengers because Kang is trying to buy some goodwill because he needs their help to deal with the upcoming menace that even Kang can't even deal with, because in the previous issue Kang was gravely injured, and as you can see in this one, Jen McKay really has a knack for just writing. I think he just does a lot of research, and he really explains characters in a very good way. Like, even with Black Panther, with Thor, his other book Moon Knight, which will be unfortunately coming to an end, I think around issue 30, and his book of Doctor Strange. It's just off to a fantastic start for this book, The Avengers #2. Even excuse me, Sam Wilson is helping this driver. He explains to him, saying that you don't need those pills. And this is some of Kang's help. Kang gives him foresight that I guess this driver was going to kill some people unintentionally because he was going to take some pills because he's a truck driver and he just needs to stay awake. But Sam Wilson says, I'm just going to read a little bit. He goes, I know you're tired, Paul. Anyone would be. You're pulling double shifts to deliver medical supplies. You want to help people, but I also know that if you get on the road like this with those pills in you, you're not going to help anyone. It just gives a human element to, I mean, Sam Wilson is a human, but, to these superheroes, Jen McKay just does such a fantastic job. And then he decides to drop the pills, and then I do like these lines here. You can drive a rig? Oh yeah. Remind me to tell you how I put myself through college. It's just a lot easy. It's a lot easier than a Quinjet. And driver picks the music. So I hope you like Marvin Gaye, my man. And he goes, I mean, who doesn't? I like Marvin Gaye too. But he Sam Wilson saves the day and helps out the driver. Definitely an A+ book. I really enjoyed Jen McKay's start on the Avengers. Next up, this is the penultimate issue of the Carnage Reign saga with Miles Morales' Spider-Man. A lot of great action and a lot of great story. Cody Ziegler is another author who knows how to write Miles, and not just Miles, Scorpion, Carnage, Iron Man. But in this book, Miles Morales suffers a mortal wound from Carnage, but Tony Stark decides to give him a little enhancement to help him out, and at the end, you see this pretty cool. I really like that. It's sort of like an iron suit for Spider-Man, but this is another A+ book. I'm just going over all my A+ because from my previous video, I had a lot of books, so I just want to trim down my favorites of the week. And next up, we have by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein on art, Incredible Hulk #1. If you've read Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, you'll know that it's sort of taken the same pace. It's another monster book, a lot of body horror, and I think this is going to be off to a great start because there's this group that's trying to hunt the Hulk. They're looking for, quote, the Green Door. So I think they're just trying to put an end. They're trying to put an end to the Hulk. This book has kind of an X-Files feel. It's a group that's looking for Bruce and just trying to put an end to his life. But they also have supernatural beings in their cachet, because there's this guy you'll see who's not even a guy. I guess these demons wear us as suits to try to blend in with humanity. And then I really like this. If you're kind of squeamish, that's Bruce transforming. But this is off to a great start. I'm really liking this book. And a book that is issue number 3 of 4 It's written by Steve Fox, and the art is by Piotr Kowalski, who did one of my one of my favorite books, Where Monsters Lie, and it's sort of in the same token, All Eight Eyes. This is a really good This is a really good spider horror book. Um, this kid, this kid saw one of the spiders that's invading New York, but and this is set a little bit after 9/11 as well too. But he makes friends with this guy named Reynolds, who you find out a little bit of his origin, how his family died, and then you find out that his name isn't Reynolds. It's just the name that was inside the jacket that he picked up. He also has a dog named Possum. He's a cute guy. But um, Reynolds lost his son and his wife um, to this spider menace, and then the house burned down. And at the end, the kid says, "Let's go find your white whale." So this is the penultimate issue. Um, if you don't want to pick up the single issues, they're $3.99 each. But the graphic novel trade, I'm sure will come out. I highly recommend you getting that. It's really fantastic. And then next up, we have Godzilla, There Be Dragons by Frank Thierry. This is also fantastic. You don't see that much of the big guy, but it's set during pirate times, and it's set around the time of, if you know your pirate lore, Sir Francis Drake. And Sir Francis Drake is going off to find a lost treasure. And then when they go up to the island, they find a footprint that belongs to, quote unquote, a dragon. This is kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean. The pirate who's narrating this has it's kind of a Jack Sparrow feel to it, but you do see Godzilla at the end. This is really well done. I think this is a 4-issue or 5-issue miniseries, but I'm really liking it so far. And for DC, we have, this would probably be my cover of the week, but Superman by Joshua Williamson and Jamal Campbell on art. Superman number 5. I really love that art. And the cover for this is by Lee Bermejo. And Lex Luthor and Superman are still working together. Superman is part of Supercorps, but Jimmy is trying to help his girlfriend Silver Banshee. Just fantastic art. But when Lex tries to help Superman on his way, Lex is in jail, but he gets on his way back to his cell. He gets shanked in prison, and you really don't know what happens to him. I mean, he's in a bad state towards the end. You see, he's just in a pool of his own blood. But unfortunately, right there, we have to wait till, is it October? August and September. So it'll come back in August, but you want to find out what happened to Lex. And then the last book for my suggestion and my pick of the week. This book will always be in my poll for for best pick of the week, because it's written by Mark Waid and Dan Mora, and the ink is by Mark Bonvillain. Bonvillain, yep, sorry. I mean, look at this page. It's just so good. Sorry, I gush. I don't usually gush over art, but Dan Mora he's just an excellent penciler, and Bonvillain is a great inker. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Tamara Bonvillain. I don't know why I thought it was Mark. Apologies. But Batman and Superman they're fighting Kelex, and they're fighting a bunch of other cyborg Supermen. You have Hawkman up here, and you even have a favorite of mine, E.L. O'Brien, also known as Plastic Man. To me, he's kind of a perverted Reed Richards. But it's just fantastic art with Oliver Quinn, and they're fighting New Mazo, who is trying to take over the world, and you have the Justice League trying to help, but when they thought they killed him, he's still there. But those are my picks of the week. We'll quickly do a brief synopsis of These books are all A plus, and if you haven't made your way to the comic book store, I highly recommend you getting these books. Batman World Finest number 16, Superman number 5, Godzilla There Will Be Blood issue number 1, All Eight Eyes issue number 3 of 4 by Steve Fox. Philip Kennedy Johnson, The Incredible Hulk, he's also writing Action Comics as well. And he's also writing 007 from Dynamite, which I also subscribe to. It's a good book. Miles Morales by Cody Ziegler. He will also be taking over Carnage once Alex Packnadle leaves after the Carnage Reigns event. And then Jed McKay's issue number 2 of the Avengers. Those are my picks of the week, and to sort of tide me over until I get my next books, I picked up X-Men Milestones, the Executioner Saga. I've been really getting into the Claremont run of X-Men. I've only seen the animated series, but I wanted to sort of diversify and just read some good X-Men stories, and I have been. I've been reading The Mutant Massacre. I finished that. Fall of the Mutants. Now I have this, Inferno, and I have some other stories, but that's my video for the week. I will see you guys next week. Monday is the first day of the new job. Excited and nervous at the same time, but I'll see you guys next week. All right. And once we reach 200, get closer to that 200, we'll do that stream, and I'll give away some great books to some people. All right. I'll see you next week.